Driven by an insatiable curiosity and the allure of undiscovered mysteries, we set out on an expedition to the infamous Mountain of Madness. Our team consisted of seasoned adventurers, each with a unique skill set, united by the promise of uncharted territory. As we approached the mountain, its foreboding silhouette loomed ominously against the sky, casting long shadows that seemed to beckon us closer. The first few days of our journey were uneventful, filled with the usual challenges of rugged terrain and unpredictable weather. The higher we climbed, the more the mountain's eerie atmosphere began to weigh on us. The air grew colder, and an unsettling silence enveloped the landscape, broken only by the crunch of our boots on the rocky ground. We pressed on, driven by the promise of the unknown. As we ascended, strange occurrences began to plague our group. Equipment went missing, inexplicable noises echoed through the night, and an oppressive sense of dread hung over our camp. We dismissed these as the effects of altitude and fatigue, yet an unspoken fear began to creep into our minds. Each step further into the mountain felt like a step into the unknown depths of our own fears. Our guide, a local with extensive knowledge of the region, was the first to express his concerns. He spoke of ancient legends and whispered warnings about the mountain's cursed history. Despite his apprehensions, we pushed forward, believing our modern sensibilities immune to such superstitions. We had come too far to turn back now. One morning, as we prepared to resume our climb, we discovered that one of our team members, Alex, was missing. His tent was empty, his belongings untouched. Panic set in as we scoured the area, calling his name until our voices were hoarse. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The mountain had claimed its first victim, and a chilling realization settled over us. The decision to continue was fraught with tension, but we were determined to find Alex and uncover the secrets of the Mountain of Madness. With heavy hearts, we resumed our ascent, each of us grappling with our own fears and doubts. The higher we climbed, the more the mountain seemed to come alive, its rocky crags and twisted pathways a labyrinth designed to ensnare us. Days turned into nights, and our resolve began to wane. The mountain's malevolent presence grew stronger, its influence palpable. We started to see things, shadows moving in the corners of our vision, strange symbols carved into the rocks, and fleeting glimpses of figures that disappeared as quickly as they appeared. Our minds played tricks on us, and the line between reality and hallucination blurred. Tensions flared within the group as paranoia took hold. Trust eroded, and arguments broke out over the smallest of issues. We were unraveling, the mountain's grip tightening around our psyches. Desperation set in, and the urge to escape this nightmare grew stronger with each passing hour. But the mountain was not done with us yet. One fateful night, as we huddled around the fire for warmth, we heard a distant, otherworldly wail. It echoed through the valleys, a sound so haunting and primal that it chilled us to the bone. We exchanged fearful glances, our bravado crumbling. The mountain's ancient evil was no longer a legend. It was real, and it was coming for us. In a desperate bid for answers, we decided to venture deeper into the mountain. Our guide, visibly shaken, tried to dissuade us, but we pressed on, driven by a mixture of fear and curiosity. The tunnels we entered were narrow and treacherous, the air thick with a musty odor. It felt like we were descending into the bowels of the earth, each step echoing with the weight of our impending doom. The deeper we went, the more the atmosphere changed. The walls of the tunnels were lined with strange, ancient markings, and an unnatural darkness enveloped us. Our flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. Every sound was amplified, the drip of water and the crunch of gravel underfoot a constant reminder of our isolation. As we navigated the labyrinthine tunnels, we stumbled upon a cavernous chamber. Its vastness was overwhelming, and in the center stood a monolithic structure unlike anything we had ever seen. It pulsed with an eerie glow, casting an otherworldly light that illuminated the chamber. We approached it cautiously, the hairs on the back of our necks standing on end. The structure seemed to emanate a palpable malevolence. Its surface was covered in intricate carvings and symbols that defied our understanding. As we examined it, a sense of dread washed over us, and the air grew thick with an oppressive energy. We knew we had found something ancient and powerful, something that should never have been disturbed. Without warning, the ground beneath us began to tremble. The cavern shook violently, and rocks began to fall from the ceiling. Panic set in as we scrambled to find an exit, the walls closing in around us. It felt as if the mountain itself was trying to swallow us whole. In the chaos, we lost sight of each other, and I was left alone in the darkness. My heart pounded in my chest as I navigated the collapsing tunnels. The path was treacherous, filled with dangerous obstacles and debris. The air was thick with dust, and every breath felt like a struggle. I could hear the distant cries of my comrades, their voices growing fainter with each passing moment. Time was running out. As I stumbled through the darkness, I felt a presence behind me. It was an inexplicable feeling, as if something malevolent was watching my every move. Fear gripped me, and I quickened my pace, desperate to escape. The tunnels seemed to twist and turn, leading me deeper into the mountain's clutches. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I saw a faint light in the distance. I pushed forward, my legs burning with exhaustion. The light grew brighter, and I realized it was the entrance to the tunnel. Relief washed over me as I burst out into the open air, gasping for breath. But my relief was short-lived. Outside, the scene was one of chaos. The mountain was collapsing, huge chunks of rock crashing down around us. I spotted the remaining members of our group, their faces etched with fear and desperation. We had to move quickly if we were to survive. With a renewed sense of urgency, we began our descent. The path down the mountain was treacherous, the ground unstable and littered with debris. Every step was a battle against the elements and our own exhaustion. The malevolent force we had encountered seemed to follow us, a constant reminder of the horrors we had faced. We could feel its presence, urging us to flee, but refusing to let us go. As we navigated the perilous terrain, we encountered more strange phenomena. The air grew colder, and an unnatural fog enveloped us, obscuring our vision. It felt as if the mountain itself was alive, trying to ensnare us in its grasp. Our movements were slow and cautious, each of us acutely aware of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. The fog thickened, and we lost sight of each other. I called out to my comrades, but my voice was swallowed by the dense mist. Panic set in as I stumbled blindly, trying to find my way. My mind raced with thoughts of the malevolent force, its unseen eyes watching my every move. I knew I had to keep moving, to push forward despite the fear. After what felt like an eternity, I emerged from the fog. I found myself on a narrow ledge, the sheer drop below a stark reminder of our precarious situation. I could see the others in the distance, their forms barely visible through the mist. We were scattered, each of us fighting our own battle against the mountain's malevolence. We regrouped on the ledge, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. The mountain rumbled beneath us, and we knew we had little time left. With a sense of urgency, we continued our descent, navigating the treacherous path with a mixture of fear and determination. The malevolent force seemed to grow stronger, its presence a constant shadow over our every move. As we made our way down, we encountered another obstacle, a chasm that split the path in two. The only way across was a narrow, rickety bridge that swayed precariously in the wind. We had no choice but to cross, our hearts pounding with fear. One by one we inched our way across, the creaking of the bridge echoing in the still air. Halfway across, disaster struck. The bridge began to collapse, the ropes snapping under our weight. In a desperate bid for survival, we scrambled to the other side, barely making it before the bridge gave way entirely. The chasm below seemed to mock us, a reminder of how close we had come to falling into the abyss. With our nerves frayed and our bodies pushed to their limits, we pressed on. The path down the mountain seemed endless, each step a battle against exhaustion and fear. The malevolent force continued to haunt us, its presence a constant reminder of the horrors we had faced. We knew we had to keep moving, to escape the mountain's grasp before it was too late. As we neared the base of the mountain, the terrain grew more familiar. We could see the trailhead in the distance, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Our spirits lifted, and we quickened our pace, driven by the promise of safety. But the mountain was not done with us yet. Just as we thought we were free, the ground beneath us began to shake. The mountain roared, and rocks tumbled down the slopes. We ran for our lives, dodging debris and navigating the treacherous terrain. It felt as if the mountain itself was trying to consume us, to drag us back into its depths. In the chaos, we lost another member of our group. Sarah, our medic, was struck by a falling rock. Her screams echoed through the valley, a haunting reminder of the dangers we faced. We tried to reach her, but the path was blocked by debris. With heavy hearts, we were forced to leave her behind, our grief a constant weight on our souls. The remaining members of our group pressed on, their faces etched with determination. We had come too far to give up now. The trailhead grew closer, and we could see the safety of the forest beyond. The malevolent force seemed to weaken, its grip on us loosening as we neared the edge of the mountain's domain. As we stepped onto the trailhead, a sense of relief washed over us. We were free from the mountain's grasp, but the horrors we had faced would forever be etched in our minds. We turned back one last time, gazing up at the mountain of madness. It loomed ominously, a dark reminder of the ancient evil that dwelled within its depths. Our journey down the mountain was far from over. The path through the forest was long and arduous, our bodies weary from the ordeal. We moved in silence, each of us lost in our own thoughts. The memories of our fallen comrades weighed heavily on our hearts, their faces a constant presence in our minds. As night fell, we set up camp in a small clearing. The forest was eerily quiet, the usual sounds of wildlife absent. It felt as if the malevolent force had followed us, its presence a lingering shadow. We huddled around the fire, seeking warmth and comfort in its flickering light. Sleep eluded us, our minds restless with the memories of the mountain. In the darkness we shared our stories, Each of us recounted our experiences, the horrors we had faced, and the losses we had endured. It was a cathartic release, a way to process the trauma we had suffered. The firelight cast long shadows, and for a moment, it felt as if we were back on the mountain, trapped in its malevolent embrace. As dawn broke, we resumed our journey. The forest seemed less foreboding in the light of day, but the sense of unease remained. We moved quickly, eager to put as much distance between us and the mountain as possible. Our goal was clear: to reach civilization and share our story, to warn others of the dangers that lurked within the mountain of madness. The days blurred together as we navigated the dense forest. Our supplies dwindled, and we relied on our survival skills to find food and water. The journey took its toll on our bodies, but we pressed on, driven by the need to escape the malevolent force that seemed to linger just beyond our sight. As we neared the edge of the forest, we encountered a group of hikers. They were a welcome sight, their presence a reminder that we were not alone. We shared our story with them, their expressions a mix of disbelief and horror. They offered us food and water, their kindness a balm to our weary souls. With the hikers' help, we made our way to a nearby village. The villagers listened to our tale with wide eyes, their faces pale with fear. They spoke of the legends surrounding the mountain of madness, their warnings echoing the ones we had dismissed. We had survived, but we knew our ordeal was far from over. The villagers helped us contact the authorities, and soon a rescue team arrived. We were taken to a nearby hospital, our injuries treated and our story documented. The media caught wind of our tale, and soon the world knew of the horrors we had faced. The mountain of madness had claimed many lives, but we had lived to tell the tale. With our sanity hanging by a thread, the surviving adventurers fled the mountain of madness, forever haunted by the memories of the ancient evil they encountered. We had escaped, but the mountain's malevolent force would forever be a part of us, a dark reminder of the price we paid for our curiosity. The mountain of madness had left its mark, and we would never be the same again.